Signs a married woman may be interested in you, but is trying to conceal it. Have you ever had the sense that someone was sending you signals, so subtle you could almost overlook them, yet you couldn't quite figure out what they meant? Now, imagine that person is married. That adds a layer of complexity, doesn't it? Welcome to today's discussion where we explore a topic that is both intriguing and nuanced, recognizing signs that a married woman might like you while attempting to hide it. Before we continue, let's be clear about one thing. This is not about encouraging boundary crossing or disrespecting commitments. It's about understanding human behavior and becoming more aware of the signals people may unconsciously express. Once you learn to recognize these cues, your perspective on relationships and interactions may shift significantly. In this video, we'll examine the subtle indicators a married woman might display if she feels drawn to someone outside her relationship. We'll also break down the psychology behind these behaviors and help you distinguish between simple friendliness and something more intentional. Stay with us. These insights may completely reshape how you interpret social dynamics. Let's begin with context. Why might a married woman, presumably committed, develop feelings for someone else? Relationships are rarely simple, and marriage is no exception. Every situation is different, but certain psychological factors can play a role. One key aspect is emotional and psychological fulfillment. At times, a woman may feel a gap in her relationship. Perhaps she's not receiving the attention, appreciation, or emotional connection she desires. This doesn't necessarily mean her marriage is unhappy. It could simply be moments where she feels overlooked or undervalued. When another person unintentionally provides that missing sense of recognition, it can spark something meaningful. It's important to note that this isn't always about physical attraction. Often it's the small gestures that matter. Remembering something she mentioned, noticing a change in her appearance, or offering a sincere compliment. These moments can stand out, especially if they're lacking in her current relationship. However, this is where things become complicated. The difference between genuine friendliness and intentional signaling can be very subtle. Married women, like anyone else, can be warm and engaging without any deeper meaning. The key is to observe patterns. Is she equally attentive to everyone, or does her focus seem directed specifically toward you? Does she make a deliberate effort to connect with you? These are important distinctions we'll explore further. Understanding this context is essential, not just for interpreting signals, but for handling the situation with maturity and respect. The goal isn't to jump to conclusions or act impulsively, but to stay aware of what's happening. Now, let's move into something more observable. Body language and communication patterns. Have you ever noticed someone's actions or tone suggesting more than their words reveal? When it comes to subtle attraction, especially in a situation like this, the clues are often present but carefully concealed. Let's start with body language. Nonverbal cues can be incredibly revealing. One of the most noticeable signs is prolonged eye contact. If she holds your gaze a bit longer than usual or repeatedly looks your way, it may not be accidental. Eye contact is a powerful and universal indicator of interest. However, if she quickly looks away when noticed, that back and forth dynamic can be particularly telling. Another sign to watch for is subtle grooming behavior. Does she adjust her hair, straighten her clothing, or lightly touch her face or neck when you're nearby? These small actions often occur subconsciously when someone wants to present themselves well to a person they're drawn to. Posture also plays a role. If she leans toward you during conversations, positions her body in your direction, or appears open and relaxed, it suggests comfort and engagement. On the other hand, if her demeanor shifts noticeably when others are around, becoming more closed off or distant, it could indicate she's trying to hide something. Observing these contrasts is key. Beyond body language, communication patterns can reveal just as much. When a married woman feels a connection, her conversations with you may become more personal and involved. A simple question might turn into a deeper discussion about her thoughts, experiences, or emotions. This often reflects a desire for connection rather than casual interaction. Pay attention to the details she remembers about you. If she recalls small things you mentioned in passing, your preferences, routines, or interests, it's a strong sign she's paying close attention. People tend to remember what matters to them. Compliments are another indicator. While casual compliments are common, more thoughtful ones, especially about your personality, ideas, or efforts, can carry deeper meaning. It's not just what she says, but how she says it. Tone, warmth, and context all matter. What stands out most is how these interactions make you feel. If her communication feels more intentional, more engaging, or more personal than typical friendliness, it may suggest something deeper. Now, let's consider effort, one of the clearest signs. When someone is interested but trying to hide it, their actions can unintentionally reveal them. She may start finding reasons to be around you, attending events she wouldn't normally join, passing by your workspace more often, or participating in activities you're involved in. These repeated coincidences are often not random. You might also notice a sudden interest in your hobbies or preferences. If you enjoy a particular activity or topic and she begins engaging with it or bringing it up, it may be her way of creating common ground. But here's where things become more complex. Her behavior may also include hesitation and contradiction. In group settings, she might appear distant or reserved, almost as if she's avoiding you. This isn't necessarily disinterest. It can be a conscious effort to prevent others from noticing anything unusual. Similarly, if you're having a one-on-one conversation and someone else joins, she might quickly withdraw or change her demeanor. These shifts often reflect an internal struggle, balancing her feelings with the need to maintain boundaries and appearances. The contrast between private warmth and public distance can be very revealing. Mixed signals are another hallmark of this situation. One moment she's engaged, friendly, and attentive. The next, she seems distant or indifferent. This inconsistency often stems from conflicting emotions, interest on one side and caution or guilt on the other. Despite all these signals, she is unlikely to openly acknowledge her feelings. Admitting them would cross a line she may not be willing to face. If the topic ever arises, she may deflect, deny, or downplay it to keep things ambiguous. So, what should you do if you find yourself in this situation? First and foremost, respect boundaries. No matter how strong the signals may seem, she is in a committed relationship. Acting on the situation could have serious consequences for everyone involved. Take a step back and evaluate the bigger picture. Consider whether engaging further aligns with your values. Sometimes, the most responsible choice is to create distance. It's also important to reflect on your own behavior. Are you unintentionally encouraging the dynamic? Even small actions can be misinterpreted. If needed, adjust your approach. Limit one-on-one interactions, avoid overly personal conversations, and maintain clear, respectful boundaries. If the situation begins to affect your comfort or peace of mind, address it with clarity and tact. You don't need to confront her directly about her feelings. Instead, set your own boundaries in a calm and respectful way. Ultimately, navigating this situation requires awareness, integrity, and self-control. So what have we covered? Subtle attraction may show through body language, communication, and effort. Lingering eye contact, thoughtful conversations, or intentional proximity. At the same time, hesitation, mixed signals, and avoidance often point to an internal conflict that shouldn't be ignored. The key takeaway is awareness, not action. Recognizing these signs is about understanding, not pursuing. Healthy interactions are built on respect, trust, and ethical choices. As we conclude, remember that self-awareness is essential when dealing with complex human dynamics. Respecting boundaries isn't just about others, it's also about protecting your own integrity. If you found this discussion helpful, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing for more insights into human behavior and relationships. Stay tuned. There's more to come.